I get immensely excited about unique cars with distinct styling, and the French have been the creators of some of the most fascinating cars in the whole world. There is one miss that I've had in my motoring journey so far, and that is that I've never really driven a Citroën before. I've driven the cars of its sister brand, that is Peugeot, but never a Citroën. But that has changed today with the C5 Aircross. The first thing that I must share with you is that the design of the C5 Aircross is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm not the only one saying this. We have actually had a lot of people coming to us when we were shooting, and people have actually stopped in their tracks to come down, look at the car, and they've been asking us all sorts of questions. So it turns heads for sure. And in terms of overall design, it has a very nice and chunky front end with some very interesting and imposing design details. And then when you go to the back end of this car, it's relatively or comparatively a lot more simple, and that has a very nice and interesting contrast. So I think it's a beautifully balanced design. The front has all the aggression that you want, and the rear is all very subtle and very pleasing. So yeah, in balance, I think it looks very good and turns a lot of heads, which is one extremely crucial factor that Citroën has aced. But what about the interior of the C5 Aircross? Because when you buy a car, you don't stand outside and look at it, right? You actually get in, you drive it, and you spend a lot of time in your cars. And the good news is, the one word that comes to me for the interior is, again, very distinct. This is an interior treatment that really is going to set itself apart from the other very regular sort of approaches that manufacturers have been taking for some time now. There are nice textures all around. The top part of the dash has a very nice soft touch feel to it. And the whole treatment, in fact, the whole design, in fact, the air vents, they're actually split, and the rectangular boxes, they have a very, very good feel on the eye. And yes, there are some plastics which are not really all that pleasing to the eye. Again, you know, what I'm talking about is the lower part of the dashboard. The quality of the plastics is great. I have absolutely no qualms in accepting that the plastics feel very good. But they have this textured hard plastic feel and look which kind of doesn't gel with the overall feel of the cabin. But overall quality, not bad. And the design of the cabin is beautiful. I also really like the steering wheel design. It's a great shape. Yes, it has a little flat top and a little flat bottom, but overall it gives you a very good feel in the hands. And one gripe that I have is the placement or the functioning of the paddle shifters. These are column mounted, these are not going to move with the steering wheel. So when you're in turn, and if you want to go down or go up a gear, you will have to actually leave the steering wheel, come up, and then operate the paddles. So that can take a little time getting used to, but when you do get used to it, it just comes very naturally. Citroën has given a lot of focus on comfort in the C5 Aircross, and you can absolutely feel it as well. The seats are brilliant, and when I say brilliant, I mean they're brilliant for anything under, say, about 30 lakh rupees, provided Citroën does price the C5 in that price bracket. But really, I mean, these seats hold you very nicely in place. The side bolsterings are beautiful. If I have to really complain, then I will say that for a relatively tall driver or even a co-passenger, the seat base could have had just a little bit more extension under the thighs. But apart from that, there is not even a single thing that I can fault the seats especially for. In fact, the functionality and practicality of the cabin is enhanced by the 3 individual seats at the back because they move front and back. So you can actually go fore and aft of the rails, adjust the seats according to your space needs. And if there is another need of carrying something really big or huge or some massive amount of luggage, you just flip it down, and there is a great amount of flexibility because it's split in 3 equal parts. But one thing that all of us at WION who are here attending the drive did not like about the rear seat experience are the headrests or the head restraints. They're designed in a very awkward manner, and it kind of just extends behind the neck almost till the shoulder blades. So if you want to get into your most comfortable seating position, it's not the most ideal thing to have, and it kind of intrudes in the back. One thing that Citroën could actually improve on is the entire experience from the infotainment system. The capacitive buttons are not the most intuitive and not the most responsive as well. And I also do not like the fact that there are no hard control buttons for the HVAC. So you actually have to get into the screen, into the menu, and then select the temperature and fan speed. And that can get very annoying because this is an activity when you're driving that you do quite a lot. You have to adjust the temperature every now and then, probably the fan speed as well. And in the C5 Aircross, you have to actually take your eyes off the road, look at the screen, and then do it. So it's also a big safety issue. Another complaint is the quality of the camera. Now, the image that it throws on the screen is just not of the resolution that the rivals are giving in this segment. One thing I really like is the TFT screen right in front of the driver. It's a big screen as well. It's 12.3 inches, and you can customize it according to your preference, but the big talking point over here is that it looks very pleasing to the eye. The graphics are beautiful. It's not jazzy at all like some rivals have been doing. Lower segments, but you probably know what I'm talking about. So yeah, very pleasing on the eye and very informative as well. Safety features, the C5 Aircross comes with the full net of airbags. So you get dual front airbags, side seat airbags, you also get curtain airbags. The C5 Aircross also comes with something called coffee break alert. That is basically for the driver if the person has been driving for a really long duration of time. It is going to throw you an alarm or a warning signal. And you have park assist, which basically lets you do parallel parking. It also gives you an option to select for exiting a parking slot, and then if you want to go and stack your car next to vertically stacked cars, then that is also basically possible with the bay parking option that you have in the menu. Another useful thing is the blind spot detection. Now, yes, there is no real feed of the camera into the system, but there is this nice orange flash that happens in the rear view mirrors, and you get to know that there is something in your blind spot, and be wary of that. The C5 Aircross is also quite high on convenience features. You get all the hygiene features, of course, and there is Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. There is no wireless charging, however, and that is kind of surprising. And to enhance the experience of going on really long distances driving the C5 Aircross is the fact that this cabin is very, very practical. There are a lot of storage options. There's a big storage area over here in front of the gear stick. And then this box, the armrest, plus a couple of cup holders here. The door pockets are pretty spacious as well. Similar thing in the back. So yeah, the cabin practicality, as I said, was anyway very high up. And with all these storage options, it's just at this level. The entire presentation by Citroën officials was centered around comfort for the C5 Aircross, and it had to do a lot with the suspension itself. Now, the basic architecture of the suspension is basically McPherson struts, but you get hydraulic cushions in Citroën speak. So in a regular suspension system, there is a mechanical bump stop, there is a shock absorber and spring. But in the C5 Aircross, there is an additional layer of hydraulic stops at the top and the bottom of the suspension unit. So it gives you a ride quality experience that is absolutely fantastic. There is great controlled compression on the springs, and the rebound is also very progressive. In fact, you can feel all that sophistication as well when you're going on some very bad roads or you encounter speed bumps and you take them at speed. Because in a regular car, it would have been a very jumpy experience, and the suspension would have had to deal with a few more oscillations before it finally settled down. So you are always going to do this. But in the Citroen C5 Aircross, this does not happen. It just compresses very beautifully, and the rebound settles the car down without any problem. The C5 Aircross also handles pretty decently. I did not really think that it is going to be an enjoyable experience because the whole conversation, because it was all around comfort and the suspension being too sophisticated, I thought it's going to be soft and it's going to wallow around the corners, but it did not. And that is again, that's where the suspension comes into its elements. Because of the hydraulic cushion that you have at the top and the bottom, it already loads itself up very nicely when you turn the steering wheel in anger around some bends. So there is a little bit of roll, of course, because it's a fairly high riding car, but it just is a very controlled sort of a behavior around bends, and you can really predict what the car is going to do. The feedback from the steering is not all that feelsome, but the response is very straight on point, and that really helps as well. This engine is a 2-liter affair. It develops about 175 bhp and 400 Newton meter, and the power delivery, that is extremely seamless. The linearity of the engine is just so beautiful that it completely tells you the nature of the car also. The C5 Aircross is not something that you're going to drive with your sporty shoes on. It is a nice and relaxed cruiser, and that's exactly what the engine really feels like as well. Again, the one word that comes to me is linearity, and the engine is strong. Don't mistake it for being slow, because the progress is very rapid. I don't really have the 0 to 100 times because what we actually have been doing is just cruising along. But when you floor the throttle, when there is that gap that you want to go for, go down the gears if you want to, but even just pressing on the throttle, and it just really goes for it. There is no kick back into the seat or something like that. That is not what this engine is really about. It just builds that surge of torque, and it's very enjoyable. Talking of the gearbox, this is an 8-speed unit provided by Aisin to Citroen, and it is not as fun as the 8-speed by ZF, but it really does the job. You're not really going to complain against it. Yes, the kickdowns are slightly slow, but again, as I said, the nature of the engine itself is more relaxed in comparison to some other very zestful engines of this kind and this capacity. So the nature of the gearbox is completely in sync with the nature of the engine, and combined, they really make you feel like the C5 Aircross is a nice cruising machine, which it is. The C5 Aircross also gets driving modes, as is expected. So you get Eco, Normal and Sport. Sport, of course, enlivens the throttle response and stuff. Eco really dulls it down and goes into fuel saving mode. So yeah, it's up to you what you want. But Normal is also not bad. Sport, of course, is going to be the most rewarding. But beyond this, you get different modes to drive on different terrains. So you get a normal mode, of course, so that is to drive on road. And then you have snow mode, which unfortunately right now we don't really have. I would have loved to have snow, but probably sometime later. So it just alters the entire driving dynamics and the torque split to the front in the most optimum manner. And the second mode is mud. Again, the same application, but for mud mode, and there is sand as well. Citroen has also been telling us that they've done some incredible level of sound insulation, and while that is true for most part, you can actually hear the engine to a certain extent because, come to think of it, it's a typical diesel clatter that you get inside the cabin. and it's not as bad as, say, the Jeep Compass, but you can definitely hear it. It is very controlled, very muted, but yeah, we can never stop complaining, can we? So it could have been more refined, or at least the sound insulation could have been slightly better. Right now you can hear the engine, but everything else, like the road noise, wind noise, general noise from the outside, ambient noise, all that is controlled very nicely. The C5 Aircross comes across as a fantastic first product for Citroën in India. And of course, we can debate about the top-down approach and whether that strategy is the right strategy for a niche brand entering India for the first time. But you know what, I think it actually can work because the Indian market has become a little bit more mature than what it used to be. And people are now starting to accept experimental brands, new brands, interesting brands, and interesting products. So it is actually not a very bad time to be in India. In fact, the other day, a couple of my colleagues from the industry and I were discussing that if we go back in time, what would have been the best time for Citroën to enter India? And we were of the view that probably 60s and 70s, when there was that proper culture of cars in India, and it's the second phase that we think is ideal is actually right now, because as I said, people are more accepting of interesting cars.